Good afternoon, everyone. 5 past 5 on Tuesday, the 14th of September. And the front page of VectorVest USA says all we need to know. As you can see, the pointer, which measures the short-term trend of the market, firmly in the red. And the trend situation, short-term trend is down. The underlying trend turned down yesterday. And the longest measure of the trend is still up. But that must be on very thin ice. As you can see, the buy-sell ratio is at 0.61. 1,090 shares on a buy, 1,791 on a sell. The advice, VectorVest doesn't advocate buying stocks at this time. I think you should, in fact, take heed of that. If I have a look at the VectorVest composite, which is an equally weighted index of all of the shares that we follow, a very broad measure of the market, and you can see that since March this thing has just gone nowhere. If I have a look over the last 3 months, I've marked the VectorVest primary wave on here, and you can see how well that's tracked this market up and down, and the primary wave has been down now for 5 or 6 trading days since the 8th of September, and trades taken in that direction would have been fairly good. So if I have a look at my old friend, the S&P, the S&P has been stronger. Just remember, it's a much smaller measure of the market. It's trended up, and clearly I cut my teeth as a technician in this market, so I can see these patterns relatively easily. And this looks to me as if it is a rising wedge. And there's 5 waves within the wedge: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And a construction that I've used for years, if you draw a line between 1 and 4, that actually produces a target. That's worked for me for a very long time. Clearly, we found some support at that level yesterday, and that support is still holding. Market charted in candlestick terminology, a doji, or at least something that approaches a doji yesterday, which is a sign of uncertainty, and it just means that the market professionals are as uncertain whether this is going to bounce from here or whether we're going to fall from here as we are. Today it opened up, there was a news announcement which took the market up, but the market gave that up very quickly indeed. If this level goes, then the next level will be 100 points down. That's not the end of the world, folks, in this big move up. So as long as it was only 100 points, it wouldn't be the end of the world to our positions. It can quite easily bounce from here. If we have a look at the intraday, we can see that that's the gap up on news, and then it just fell from that gap up. I didn't trade it today, but the break of the first 5 minutes in the direction of the trend down, the primary wave down, would have been a heck of a good trade, but I didn't trade it today at all. So I have some positions. I got stopped out of one position. I got stopped out of AMD since I spoke last. Very happy with Decker, and that's what happens when you sit and wait for those really plum trades, which I should do more of. Doing nothing is much more difficult than it would seem. Square has taken a little bit of a move in the right direction this morning, although it's the only one that's underwater. Let's have a look at Decker's. That's the share today. And if we look at it, there is this pullback to the 62% retracement, which was an old high. And if I put on the old stochastic, the stochastic is showing a reverse divergence. If I put on the VectorVest valuation, it's right above the price. If I put on earnings per share growth, it's rising. The only thing that this share has gone up significantly when the general market has been falling and falling quite hard. And if the general market should find support at that level I showed a minute ago, then we should move up and move up quite considerably. Okay. In the UK, well, I'm still struggling in gold. I haven't given up faith in gold yet. Maybe I should have. Maybe I need a smack around the ear, but Gold is trading above 1800, and that's quite a good sign. I haven't, in fact, taken a spread bet long in gold as yet. If and when I do, I shall post a video on that. Copper is struggling a little bit today. There was announcements out of China this morning that weren't that good, and clearly if China slows down, that's not good for copper. In my blog, I talked about Jubilee Metals last Thursday, and that still hasn't given an entry signal as yet. The recommendation was to wait for a VectorVest buy signal, and that still has not occurred. In the UK, I haven't done anything else, and the stocks that I've got are on my watch list. There we go. And if I sort them by RT and bring the performing ones to the top, yesterday wasn't that easy, apart from the two building stocks, which did quite well yesterday. Persimmons and Bellway and Pershing Square bucked the trend yesterday. So let's see if this market can hold. If we go back to the front page of VectorVest US, we can see that nothing much has changed in the last few minutes. The S&P is down 5 points on the day. It moved up, given that all back and a little bit more. So VectorVest doesn't advocate buying stocks at this time. Let's sit this out and wait for this market to actually define a bottom for us. It could easily get to 4,350 before that comes in. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But if this level does go, that was Friday's low, then that in fact would add to the probability we're going to come down another 100 points and come down another 100 points relatively quickly. If we find a bottom somewhere around 43.50, then there will be buying opportunities again. Similarly, if we break above the high of that doji at Friday, then we could easily have another wave on the upside. That's what's happened at all the rest of these things. The world was just about to end, and then it pushed up. So let's just sit and wait and see and keep our powder dry. Just remember, doing nothing, as I've said 1,000 times to the UK people, is much, much more difficult than it would seem. But that's what we should do this afternoon. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.